So I'm sitting there, and I'm with my parents, and I know it's coming up, and I started to say to my father, "You look tired, Dad." And he didn't know what I was talking about. I said, no, you look tired. You should go. And I got him out of the room and then explained to my brothers what was coming up. So it's a weird dysfunctional situation.
Wasn't there a thing in Playboy, I read, where they had you between two rather well-endowed women, a quip of yours?
They took a quip of mine, and they took my picture, and they put it on the back page of Playboy. I'm sure you're familiar. It's the one that has all the... some celebrities interspersed with, keep your eye up for Nikki Taylor. She's going to be appearing in Beach Party Bonanza, and she's basically bare-chested and waving at the camera. I showed up on one of those pages in the early days of my show when we were taking a lot of flack, and it was a nice, positive comment about me in between two bare-chested women. So I went home, and this was very telling about my family. My mother had heard about it, was very proud that someone said something nice about my show, so she clipped it out and she put it on the refrigerator. But then, out of electrical tape, she fashioned brassieres for the two women. And so there are these electrical tape bras on either side, and me in the middle making a stupid face.
Hey, she's your mom, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
We're with Conan O'Brien, the star of Late Night with Conan O'Brien on the NBC television network, right up against us in this time period. We'll continue for a few more here with Conan right after this short break. Well, let me ask you here about what you said when your show was first starting out. And I remember that. You took some pretty good hits, young man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you took some pretty good hits, but you kept going, kept your head up, you know, fought the good fight. What was it like backstage?
In the early
days, you know?
Oh, well,
when we didn't know who you were, and you probably didn't know what this thing called television and late night was, when you were feeling your way.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing I've learned about television in 5 pretty intensive years is that it's a two-way street. You have to get used to the job,
right,
and the people have to get used to watching you. And I knew that I was only responsible for 50%. I had to learn how to do this job. I came from having a lot of comedy experience.
Right, you wrote for The Simpsons, you wrote for Saturday Night Live, you won Emmy Awards. I mean, you were very, very accomplished in what you did before you came to the performing end.
But it's a huge leap to suddenly start interviewing people. I have too much respect for these shows, and I had too much respect for them back then to think that I was going to be able to master this overnight, and I thought, if I do it all, it's going to take a while. So I just did the best I could learning my part of the job. 50% of it was people getting used to my rhythm, and I've noticed that there are plenty of things that I do now on the air that get big laughs, that if I did them in the first season, people didn't know what I was doing and they wouldn't laugh at it. And I think it was just that they had to get used to, who is this guy Conan? How does he speak? What does he think is funny? And if they get used to it and like it, you can get away with murder.
You see, when the time comes for you to leave, for me to leave, for Dave, whoever, there used to be like a farm system for these jobs, you know, television or radio talk show hosts. There was AM Los Angeles, AM Detroit, AM Chicago.
My helicopter, by the way.
No, that's my ride, pal.
Oh, all right. Well, you can take the first one, I'll take the second.
But you know what I'm saying? There was a farm system where all the local talk programs would produce people who could do these jobs. That whole farm system is gone now.
Yeah.
You know, now it's Regis and Kathy Lee and syndication everywhere, and local stations don't do those kinds of programs. What about the television network? And I'm not looking here for, I guess I am looking for horror stories from the suits. Were they tough on you, the executives? Did you get a lot of suggestions the next day? Conan, do this, don't do that?
Oh, of course I did. And I had research, and I think if I had a qualm now about what happened in the beginning, because I'm not one to complain. Let's face it, I got a huge, unprecedented break. I ran into Tom Hanks once, shortly after I got the program, and he said, nobody gets an opportunity like this. It's historically. He was just stunned. It's true. Very few people get the kind of opportunity I have, and so I've never complained. And the fact that I had 2 years where I thought sometimes we were unfairly criticized, sometimes fairly and sometimes unfairly, I've always thought, don't complain. You're getting paid more money than most people in America get to make, and you're getting a huge break, so just learn from the criticism. The only problem I really had with the executives, it's not true of all of them, some were great, but I felt that there was a real faction that was all for, hey, let's pick a complete unknown and put him on the air to fill David Letterman's slot. Oh, wait a minute, it didn't work out immediately. Here it is, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't work out immediately. Let's completely abandon this plan. And I remember thinking, if you're going to go pick a complete unknown,
Give him a chance.
well, not even just give him a chance. The strategy you're going for is more long term. This guy will learn it. He'll then become a franchise. We'll have a relationship with him. But TV's, I mean, I'm not telling anything you don't know. TV's a tough game, and so I've
Very
never.
tough. Very tough.
I don't have any grudges against any of those people. Because
Oh, I understand. I understand. It's just that there have been times in previous programs and on this program where you'll be walking down the hall after the show and you hear a voice say, "Man, that was really terrible." You think, "Geez, I went out there and sweat bullets for you people, and so it didn't work tonight. We're coming back tomorrow night to play again."
There's one executive who goes nameless, but I finished what was real in the first season. I finished a really good show.
I really wish that traffic helicopter would find the traffic it's looking for. It's really getting on my nerves.
There was. Maybe this is the network, actually.
Yeah,
I was telling a network story. Send in another chopper right away. It's kind of eerie how it only seems to come closer
Isn't
when
it,
I'm about
though?
to give a name.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch now to talking about my love of botany. Takes off.
One executive.
One executive, I had a really good show. I came in afterwards, and there's an old showbiz courtesy. You say good show.
Right, nice show.
Nice show. Good show, even if it's not true. You say, when you're finished with the show, I'm supposed to say to you, nice show, and then it's your opportunity to tell me, but Conan O'Brien, I couldn't get anything out of him. He's an idiot. I think he was drunk. And you go on.
Or I could have been better. I should have asked him this. Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just what you do. And I walked off the stage after a really good show, and this guy said, "Come here, I want to talk to you." And we went into this room, and he just started to chew me out.
Cut you up, huh?
Cut me up about how he wanted the show to be more MTV. You should have run into the audience and high-fived everybody. You should have been running around. You should have...
years ago when I started for NBC, 1973, The Tomorrow Show, the associate producer, and I'm not going to give his name, but he had done some local television work here in New York before he became the associate producer of The Tomorrow Show. And for 6 months, Conan, every night he'd call me and he'd say, "You should have asked him this, you should have asked him that, you should have asked blah, blah, blah." Finally, I said, if they would have wanted you to do this show, they would have asked you. But they asked me, and I'm doing the best I can with this. Give me a chance. And he did, and to his credit. But it's like you said, TV is a tough game. Any guest from hell, I define a guest from hell as when the clock stops about 1:05 in the morning. Ever happened to you where the clock just stops?
It does stop.
Yeah.
There are times when you're having a tough show, it will never end. There's always another segment to do, and I won't list anyone by name because
I understand.
But I will say that there's a type that I find to be very difficult, and I think you'll agree with me. A young actor who takes his work very seriously.
Right.
It's a combination of 50 things that are going to kill you in an interview. They started acting on sitcoms when they were 16, so they haven't had life experience. They've had a trailer and a manager since they were 16. All their stories revolve around being recognized in restaurants.
That's right.
They take their work very seriously.
And
they
I
don't like to
find
joke
that
about it.
after you finish talking with them, they have sucked all the air out of the studio, and you're gasping for breath.
Right.
I can't thank you enough for doing this. I always enjoy talking with you.
That's great. Yeah,
thanks for having me on your show the other night, and keep going and stay in
fun.
touch and all that stuff. Okay?
I will do that.
My pleasure, sir.
Who picks up the check?
I'll take care of it, sir. Okay. Conan O'Brien, folks, the star of Late Night with Conan O'Brien on the NBC television network at a time period that is most competitive with this. We'll be right back after this break from New York City.